Lambai Ishirlil BC, a single day, a single battlefield, and before the sun went down, 70,000 Roman soldiers were dead, not defeated, not retreating, dead. In one day, it was not just a battle. It was a massacre. And the man who did it did not have more soldiers than Rome. He did not have better weapons. He did not have stronger walls or superior resources. He had something far more dangerous, a mind that understood war better than anyone alive. His name was Hannibal Barca, and what he did at Cannae. Military commanders still study it today, more than 2,000 years later. This is the story of the bloodiest single day in Roman history. It's the man who made it happen. To understand what happened at Cannae, you first need to understand the world that led to it. Rome in 216 BC was not yet the unstoppable empire it would later become. But it was powerful. Its legions were feared. Its soldiers were disciplined. Its military system was considered among the best in the known world. Rome had fought many wars, and Rome had won most of them. The Romans believed in their army with absolute confidence. They believed that no enemy could stand against a full Roman legion in open battle. That belief was about to be shattered completely, because far away in Carthage, city on the northern coast of Africa, a general was preparing something Rome had never seen before. Something that would haunt Roman nightmares for generations. His name was Hannibal Barca, and he had spent his entire life preparing for one thing: the destruction of Rome. Hannibal was not born hating Rome, but he was raised that way. His father was Hamilcar Barca, a great Carthaginian general who had fought Rome in the First Punic War. Carthage had lost that war, and Hamilcar never forgave Rome. The story goes that when Hannibal was just a young boy, he begged his father to take him along on a military campaign. His father agreed, but only on one condition. Hannibal had to swear an oath of eternal hatred toward Rome. The young boy placed his hand on the altar and swore he would never be a friend to Rome. Whether that story is completely true or not, the results speak for themselves. Hannibal grew up to become one of the greatest military commanders, brilliant, calculating, absolutely fearless, and completely devoted to one mission: bringing Rome to its knees. In 218 BC, Hannibal did something that no one thought was possible. He marched his army from Spain, across the Pyrenees Mountains, across southern France, and then over the Alps, in winter. With elephants, the Alps in winter are brutal even today. In 218 BC, they were a death trap. Snow, ice, freezing winds. Soldiers died from the cold, from falling, from exhaustion. Horses and elephants struggled on ice-covered ground. Many believed the march would destroy Hannibal's army, but Hannibal pushed forward. He inspired his men. He shared their suffering, slept in the cold with his soldiers. He ate what they ate. He led from the front. And somehow, he brought his army through the Alps. When they descended into northern Italy, Rome was completely unprepared. Rome reacted quickly. Armies were mobilized. Generals were dispatched. Rome was not afraid of Hannibal, not yet. 2 Roman consuls were placed in command: Lucius Aemilius Paulus and Gaius Terentius Varro. Between them, they commanded one of the largest Roman armies ever assembled, approximately 86,000 soldiers, infantry, cavalry. They marched south to meet Hannibal near a small town called Cannae, in a wide open plain. Perfect terrain for the Roman legions. Hannibal looked at that same plain and smiled, because that open ground was not perfect for Rome. It was perfect for him. The night before the battle, both armies made camp. On one side stood the massive Roman force, 86,000 soldiers. On the other side stood Hannibal's army, smaller, around 50,000 men, outnumbered significantly. But Hannibal was not calculating normally. He walked the battlefield that night. He studied the ground. He felt the wind. And in his mind, he designed something extraordinary: a trap, not built from walls or ditches, but from the movement of men. The morning of August 2nd to 16 BC, the sun rose over the plain of Cannae. Both armies lined up facing each other. The Romans did what they always did. They packed their infantry tightly in the center, a massive wall of soldiers, shields locked. Hannibal arranged his army differently. He placed his weakest troops in the center, his best, most experienced warriors on the flanks. The Romans saw the weakness in the center, and they charged, exactly as Hannibal knew they would. The Carthaginian center bent backward under Roman pressure. It looked like they were breaking. It looked like Rome was winning. The Romans pushed harder, deeper. They surged forward into what they thought was a collapsing enemy line. But the center was not collapsing. It was bending deliberately, drawing the Romans in, deeper and deeper, like a jaw slowly closing. Then Hannibal gave the signal. His experienced warriors on both flanks stopped retreating. They pushed forward, surrounding the Roman infantry. At the same moment, his cavalry destroyed the Roman horsemen on the edges, then swept around behind the Roman infantry. 80,000 Roman soldiers were now completely surrounded. On all sides, with nowhere to run, the jaw had closed. What followed was not a battle anymore. It was a slaughter. The Romans were packed so tightly together, they could barely raise their weapons. Hannibal's warriors closed in from every direction, cutting, stabbing, killing, hour after hour. By the time the sun began to set, the ground was covered in Roman dead. Most historians believe between 50,000 and 70,000 Romans died. Among the dead was the consul, Lucius Aemilius Pallas himself, senior senators, former consuls, all gone. In one afternoon, the other consul Vero fled with a small group of survivors. He rode back to Rome to deliver the news. Rome had been destroyed. When news of Cannae reached Rome, the city fell into panic. Women wept in the streets. Senators argued in the forum. But Rome did not surrender. Instead, something extraordinary happened. The Romans refused to break. They raised new armies. They hunted Hannibal across Italy for 15 more years. And eventually, Rome won the war. Hannibal never captured Rome. He died in exile years later. Alone, far from the battlefield where he had once made the whole world tremble. Cannae was never forgotten. It remains the greatest tactical military victory in ancient history. The day one man outsmarted the most powerful army. The blood soaked into that Italian plain for centuries. And Rome never forgot the name. Cannae.